Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Heard That, and Zach Barnes here for the WT Sports Network. And overall, this last week treated the Buffs and Lady Buffs pretty well. First off, Buff and Lady Buff track in Birmingham, Alabama for the Indoor National Championships. Lady Buffs had a solid showing, finishing 5th as a team and even one individual winning a national championship.
Really had a great weekend, and I mean, even in Division II history, she was one of the high point scorers for the meet. Won a national title in the triple jump, and set a national record for her home country, and set a Division II top 10 mark in the triple jump, and just had a great series of jumps. I think all 4 of her fair jumps would have won the title either way. So, that kind of performance is really infectious and creates momentum, and you could see it translate over into our other girls. I mean, I think it elevated Malika's performance. You know, if Relly happens to have a bad day and doesn't win the national title, Malika wins it.
Norma Cunningham also being named as an All-American, also breaking a school record and a Lone Star Conference record, finishing 3rd in the shot put. Relly Putin also ended up finishing 2nd in the long jump. And after a solid season as a whole from Relly Putin, she was named the USTF CCCA Field Athlete of the Year. Then on the men's side, Owen Hind breaking a school record and a Lone Star Conference record in his 9th place finish in the 3K. Now with the indoor season done, Buff and Lady Buff track field will get their outdoor season started next weekend. They'll head to Abilene, Texas at Abilene Christian for the West Kitley Invitational.
These kids that are coming off this national championship are going to get some rest, mental, physical, emotional rest, and we're going to come back and try to have a strong performance at Texas Relays here in about 3 weeks. I think that'll be enough time for them to kind of regroup and refocus for the outdoor season. A lot of our kids have been training since conference championship, and they'll open up at Abilene Christian here in a couple weeks. So I'm really excited about the outdoor season. I think both our men's and women's teams are actually better going into outdoors.
Buff basketball in Golden, Colorado at the South Central Regional Championship Tournament. Buffs with a solid run with victories over Texas A&M Commerce and Texas A&M Kingsville, reaching their first Sweet 16 since the 97-98 season. Unfortunately, though, last night for the Buffs, they ended up taking on Colorado School of Mines hosting and ended up losing that game 88-63. Through that tournament, a couple standout performances as against Commerce, David Chavlovic and Ryan Quaid both ended up putting up 29 points in that game. Quaid also ended up having 18 rebounds in that game as well. With the Buff season now over, they officially end at 26-9 overall, 12-6 in Lone Star Conference play, and a perfect 15-0 at home. Lady Buff basketball also in the South Central Regional Championship Tournament, where they started off against Regis and ended up also beating Colorado State Pueblo on the way to the championship, where they met a familiar foe in Angelo State. Lady Buffs did not hold back as they were able to get an 86-64 win over the number 2 seed Angelo State, and will now head to Columbus, Ohio for the Elite 8 and take on the number 1 seed Ashland. Buff baseball back home this last weekend with a top 15 matchup against Texas A&M Kingsville. Even though the weather wasn't completely cooperative, Wilder Park treated the Buffs very well as they were able to get a 4-game sweep over the Javelinas, and they also outscored the number 10 team in the country 37-4.
Yeah, I thought, our pitching did an outstanding job. Anytime you can shut somebody out 3 of the 4 games, obviously pitching did well. But, behind our pitchers, I thought we played a really good defense, made some plus plays all the time. We made all the plays that we should make. So that, that's a recipe for success. And obviously offensively, I thought we did a really good job with the conditions. Friday night was pretty cold, and then obviously Saturday was extremely cold with the wind blowing straight in. So makes it tough offensively, but I thought we were able to execute, do some things that we've talked about all year. We've got a team, that I feel like can do more things, especially when the weather is that way, because we have a little bit more speed, and we're able to bunt pretty well and, hit and run, do some stuff like that offensively, and don't have to rely just solely on our, getting a double or a triple or a home run.
The weekend was full of big performances for the Buffs, but 2 big standouts were Josh Payne and Adam Adkins as they were named the Lone Star Conference Pitcher and Player of the Week.
I think it was that's the second time we've struck out 16 this year. I think the record was Brooks Trujillo last year was 17, but Payne was really good. And we talked about who we were going to start that game just because of the elements and stuff, and him being from Utah and pitched the last couple of years before he got here in Colorado. He's kind of pitched in that kind of weather. His hands, stuff like that, kind of it takes a little bit to get used to. It's tough to pitch in that conditions, but he did an outstanding job. Velocity was good. He's been good for us all year, and everything was just working for him, and was able to have a really good performance. But all of our starters really, Ryan Larison was outstanding this weekend as well. With the wind blowing out, to throw a complete game shutout, 2 hits, and strike out 10 was almost as impressive as what Payne did, especially with the wind blowing out.
Up next, the Buffs will be back on the road as they will go down to see Angelo State in the last week of what will be non-conference matchups before LSC play officially begins. As normal, they will play the single game Friday, followed with a doubleheader on Saturday and a single on Sunday.
Yeah, Angelo's went to the World Series the last 2 years. They're obviously a very talented team. I think they're 16-2 as well. They're going to be a tough test. Obviously, we know that every weekend though in the Lone Star Athletic Conference. You look at our conference. I think we've said that the last 3 or 4 weekends. This conference is so tough. There's no off weekends.
Lady Buff softball also home over the weekend, hosting Western New Mexico in a 4-game series. Lady Buffs able to bounce back from the previous week as they were able to get a 4-game sweep over Western New Mexico. None of the 4 are able to see the 7th inning.
Yeah, it was great to be at home. Obviously, we would have liked better weather, but doesn't look like we're going to get that this spring. But it was nice to be back at home and back in comfortable surroundings. And I think we played that way. I thought our offense did a very good job. We created a lot of runs and did a good job having a number of quality at-bats. And I thought pitching-wise, we used everybody, and thought we got some really good work from everyone. And now it's a situation where we have to take that and build on it, have a good, strong week this week, and go from there.
Up next, the Lady Buffs will be on the road as well, also heading to San Angelo to take on the number 2 ranked Angelo State Ramblers.
Well, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. Anytime Angelo and West Texas get together, it's a playoff atmosphere, and in reality, it's probably going to be for the regular season title. And we need to go down there into a hostile environment and be prepared to play. We kind of have to turn the tables. We always talk about teams having to come into Schaefer Park and handle our crowd and handle our environment. And we've got to step up and go on the road and do the same thing when we go down there. So. The biggest challenge this week is just to get better, and be better every day out and make sure that we're prepared when we take the field Friday night.
Lady Buff golf also busy on Monday and Tuesday down in Wichita Falls. The Lady Buffs ended up tying for 4th at the Midwestern State Invitational. Up next, the Lady Buffs will be in Tucson, Arizona on April 3rd and 4th for the Lady Buff Spring Invitational. We'd like to thank you for joining us this week on Heard That. Of course, to keep up with all your favorite Buff and Lady Buff sports, head over to GoBuffsGo.com and come back here every Wednesday for Heard That. For the WT Sports Network, I'm Zach Barnes, and we'll see you next time.